I like trains.
I love it. I'm going to jail.
All week long.
Order in the court, as they say. All rise. The Honorable Credence and Mickey, the legend, is here.
Just gotta have your head partially in the frame.
Yes. Speaking of legends, old Squishy Gardner was watching one of his videos, which we've got right here today, with old Cedric J. Simpson, and we got it. We got to join us. This guy down here,
Shamon.
Mr. Jackson. Pretty interesting one with him.
But a switch in the prosecutor's office. It's not anybody's fault as to who you might have to talk to.
Nice hat, by the way.
So maybe you ought to take that down.
Yeah, I agree. Very nice one. By the way, welcome to We Got a Case. There's the thing right there.
Boom. And if you're watching over on We Got a Case, you've got a new banner. A beautiful, bright new banner. Hope you enjoy that. Sure, it'll bring in people by the thousands, the tens of tens.
Okay, then if that's what you want to do, just wave it and you can raise it there.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was preserved, and I wanted it to get into the prosecutor's hands as soon as possible.
I got a copy of it in the file. Are we waiving?
Yeah, Gary. We'll do a waiver, Your Honor.
Gary! Right. Mr. Gonzalez, you've heard your attorney has indicated that you're waiving your right to a preliminary examination.
By the way, I love the way that old Squishy Gardner does.
Okay, you understand that that's a proceeding where the people would have to show by probable cause that the offenses alleged were committed or that the offense alleged was committed and that you committed it.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, and you understand that you won't have that proceeding and you'll proceed to circuit court to resolve this matter. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court calls the case of the people versus Shabab Jackson.
Shabab.
We're ready in that matter, Your Honor.
Laura Willenbring for the people.
Mr. Jackson, could you state your name for the record, please?
Shihab Jackson.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for the probable cause conference. My client respectfully requested this matter be set for preliminary examination at the earliest possible date.
April 4th, 2023, 9 a.m. before me.
What happens before now and then with concerning bond?
He got one giant eyebrow.
You're out on bond now, Mr. Jackson. Is there some aspect that you want to have addressed?
I have to.
He's out on bond and just asked it. What happens between those times, he says.
And what about my bond?
It's Ramadan right now, and I have religious obligations as well as work obligations in general. And for some reason, it wasn't a drug case or have anything related with drugs. And I'm on what do you call it? The daily reporting thing. And I believe I may have. I think I missed mine yesterday. I don't mean to be in violation, but I'm just sort of struggling with that and confused as to why that is.
He's telling on himself,
Your Honor.
If there's a way to lessen that, or like I don't see the reason for being on for drug testing.
Taylor Wooten Fitzgerald, happy belated birthday.
Your Honor, having heard what Mr. Jackson has stated, we'd ask that the tether aspect or the drug testing aspect actually be reduced in this case or dismissed in this case. As he stated, there is no drug aspect to this case whatsoever, and this just serves as an added burden on him.
He's on intermediate supervision.
I'm not sure why.
I'll handle it, Mr. Jackson. I got you.
Slow down, Mr. Jackson.
As set by the magistrate back in the beginning of March. I'm disinclined to change that at this point. I guess I'm not sure why his testing, why Ramadan would interfere with his testing. I understand that he may have certain obligations, but I have other individuals who are engaged in the celebration of Ramadan who aren't having these issues.
Well, it's not
So-
celebratory, sir. I just fail to see the connection with the nature of my case and having to go out of my way and pay money that I really don't have and time that I don't have to drug test on this matter, especially.
That's not
considering that-
that's not a basis for me to change it. I thought that what he was indicating, because he had started out that it was Ramadan, and I thought that there was some interference with what he had to do, but I'm not changing it. I'm going to leave his bond as continued. We can see him on the 4th.
Thank you, Adam.
Your Honor,
Thank
may
you.
I address two matters briefly?
Is there?
Yes.
Hold on, Mr. Jackson.
Your Honor, I believe his name was spelled incorrectly on the complaint. I understand it's properly spelled SHIHAB. It was
So
spelled.
no first B.
That's correct, Your Honor. And his date of birth was incorrect on the original charging documents.
So is
Everything.
it not possible to amend the drug testing, Your Honor? I understand is it just a?
Okay, so hold on.
Yes,
hold
sir.
on. I think I already said that. And I wasn't going to say anything. I will make, Ms. William-Gray, I'll make all the changes that you want. I'm just going to tell you something, sir.
Yes, sir.
What I will do what I can for people. I am
Yes,
also
sir.
very of those that work around me. I got a message that you were very insulting to my clerks. So
To who?
you ought to be that I'm
Mr.
letting
Jackson,
you.
stop talking.
I can't hear. I'm just seeking clarity, sir.
Mr. Jackson, stop talking.
I'm not talking, sir.
So,
Okay.
see, it's that attitude that's the problem.
How irritating is that?
Oh
getting?
my God.
Seriously, this dude.
Please stop talking. I'm not talking.
I'm not talking. I don't know what you're talking about. Terminator, thank you for the heads up. Matt Weaver with 10 gifted memberships.
And first on the Taco Sauce Express, also known as the Monetary Monorail.
So what
Sir,
I'm going
I'm
to
a
do
young black
is I
man
will.
fighting for the
Jackson,
right
no,
attitude. I'm listening.
You need to be quiet.
I am.
I am. I'm quiet. I didn't say anything.
I'm not saying anything. I don't know what you're talking about, Your Honor. I'm very quiet. Very, sir.
Sir,
Mr. Jackson, let the judge talk.
I'm
And
not,
don't-
I understand. I'm not sure if there was a mute or something. I'm just making sure. I understand.
Okay, so you don't have to respond to everything that's said. You don't have to get the last word. That's not.
I'm not trying to. My life is on
Okay.
the line here. That's all. That's all I'm
Okay, you know what?
I-
You know
I
what?
respect
Put
the
some
system.
deputies at that door right now, right down there at the door. Because he apparently just called security, get him down at that door. Because apparently he doesn't want to listen to his attorney. He doesn't want to listen to me.
Sir, I'm just seeking clarity on the matter. That is all. I promise. I'm a black man in the system, just trying to fight for his freedom. That's all.
Okay, so am I. So
You're
don't
not
even
fighting
try
for your
it.
freedom,
Don't
sir. With
even
all due
try
respect.
Don't even try it.
Don't even try
Alan,
what,
get
sir.
down there.
Tyree
Get down
Nichols,
there.
sports
Get
black
down there,
officers
Alan.
beat black
Just
people.
get down
to
there.
death,
Take him in.
I'm,
Sir, I'm going to find you in contempt for interrupting the court.
I'm not. trying
Mr.
to-
Brown, if you've got somebody down here,
Sir,
he
I'm
can
just
come
saying-
in, he can see me in person. We'll wait for a prosecutor to get down here and I'll deal with this in person. I'm passing it right now, but right now he's being taken in because I'm not dealing with
What
him.
if I,
I'll
Sir.
pass this matter.
sir?
Mr. Jackson, if you will just maintain your.
Court does call the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jessica Lynn Kyle.
And Mr. Ganatra, first assistant
Mr. Brown
prosecuting
still
attorney
trying to tell
on
him.
behalf of the people.
Shut up.
Just
Zachary
quiet.
Ward on behalf of Ms. Keel, Your Honor. Can we approach very briefly on this matter?
This is funny.
You really want to go into a room with me
Your
right
Honor,
now?
Your Honor,
Sure,
I don't
fine.
think.
Yeah,
Your
give
Honor-
us a bench. Put
Your Honor.
Mr. Ganatra and Mr. Ward into a room with me.
He's the last judge you want to be doing that with.
No. He brought up the thing about being a black man.
No, yeah.
Judge Simpson,
So-
like,
What? This is always.
shit.
It's instant karma. I mean,
oh
locking him
wow.
up, and that's
Mr. Brown, is somebody coming down to talk to your client, or do we need to send him down and then bring him back up later?
I've been in contact with Ms. Gaines. I know she's there now, and she said she would be happy to speak to him for me. So thank you.
Okay. All right. So if we can let Ms. Gaines know, I think she's over in that office, and then they can see him up here if that will work. Okay.
Thank you,
Yes.
Ms. Gaines. And for the record, Ms. Gaines is also still a public defender.
That's where her heart is. She will always be a public defender. I'm not worried about anybody else.
That is that on that one. Anyways.
I really love, first of all, Simpson, one of the best. Also, one of the guys you don't want to test. You don't want to push your luck with him.
He's the last person.
And to come in there with the same stuff. And I love his bailiff. That he's had the same bailiff in there for quite a while now. And that guy doesn't mess around. Oh no.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure if we have one coming up here or what's going on, but I wouldn't mind watching one of these. Got some.
Oh, by the way, it's okay to watch these. Nobody's channels is getting in trouble. Nobody's channels are being taken down. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. People are still watching the Louisiana Parole Board. So it's safe, kids. If you want to show these, you can. It's all right. No matter what you've heard.
The only thing is there's sometimes a long pause.
That's all right. I'm gonna throw us a little something up here while we wait because I'm still recording.
Yeah, that guy that guy is his own worst enemy on that one, and you're up against the wrong judge to be messing around with that. And his dude knew that. Tried. I told him to shut up lots of times, told him to stop doing what he's doing, and it is nice to see instant karma like that. I can only hope that he spent a few minutes in jail from that, at least. But who knows? Hello, Erica. Good to see everybody jumping in. Got something else for you. Maybe we'll get one of the wait.
Oh, there you go.
All right, please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
It's good timing.
Troy Henry, 397821.
All right, Troy, my name is Brennan Kessler, along with me is Miss Bonnie Jackson. Mr. Tony Marabella will be your panel. Explain the process to you, read some information to the effect, have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement, take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Respond.
We do have Herman Robinson that will be in attendance that'll speak at the appropriate. Troy Henry, DOC number 397821. You're a second class offender. Parole eligibility date 12/23/2023. Good time date 5/24/2029. Full term 12/21/2033. A 30-year sentence.
Ooh.
That's a little
Armed
stuff.
robbery, also president, offender, arms, possession of schedule 4, diazepam, possession of schedule 1, possession of intent to distribute marijuana, possession of schedule 2, cocaine. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Your answer, Ms. Jackson, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Henry. How are you doing today?
All right, ma'am.
Down to
Just have
the
some
ground.
questions for you. How old are you?
46.
Looks good.
And how much time have you actually served sentence?
20 years.
Of a 30-year, I think they said.
That's
So
hard
you
time,
were in your late 20s when you got arrested and convicted of this offense?
Yes, ma'am.
I was looking at your record and most of your arrests are drug related. And I'm looking at the home invasion. And that seems like that also might have been drug related. You want to tell us about that home invasion and what that was about?
Yes, ma'am. It was a drug deal that went bad. Me being the person I was back then, naive, I was just thinking about myself, thinking about getting drugs.
What happened? Tell me what happened.
I was in the process of making a drug transaction, and everything went out of haywire. And I just went on, got my gun, and just took everything back from him.
Home invasion means you forced your way into somebody's house,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And you were armed with a weapon and you forced your way into somebody's house.
Into the
Is that
drug
correct?
dealer's house.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Is what he
What
said.
happened after you got in the house?
I just went, took everything that I had gave to them, and hurried up and left.
What do you mean, everything that you were given?
Marijuana,
I said it. The drug dealer.
marijuana, the diazepams,
He needs to say. He needs to be
the little
clear
coke that I had.
that this was a drug.
Take any money?
Yeah, he
Yes,
said it
ma'am.
was a drug deal.
I don't think she's listening.
And so it wasn't really a drug deal going back. You went in there and robbed them.
True.
Oh, she's more hip to it than we are. Then
Were you primarily a drug dealer?
Well, he sold them
Both
the
of
drugs,
them.
and he just
Drug
took
dealer
them.
Okay.
and drug user.
went in to get it back.
And
Got
when did you start using drugs and what kind of drugs did you use?
I use marijuana, ecstasy pills, diazepams, a little coke.
So again, he
I was
sold the
about
drugs to this person.
17 when I started.
And then
Broke into their
When
house.
did you graduate from
Get
high
back when he
school?
sold them.
No,
Yeah.
ma'am.
At what age
So
did you
what?
drop out of,
12th grade. I was 21
and why were you, how were you 21 in the 12th grade?
because I failed the 9th grade.
Well, you would
How
have
many
had to
times?
fail the 9th grade multiple times, but that wouldn't have made you 21.
I was young when I was going to high school, so
That's what I thought too.
I had dropped out and went back.
We got it now, though.
That's some balls to call
Were
the
you
cops and say somebody just
employed?
stole my drugs.
Have a legitimate job,
That I just stole.
Yes, ma'am.
That I just sold to him.
the job.
Working at Shoney's,
Mm.
Filling up that
When
bill
did you
buffet.
start dealing drugs?
about a couple of months after I started working,
But how old are you?
18,
Now, what kind of drugs were you dealing?
marijuana,
What else?
crack cocaine,
What else?
And what was your prior conviction for your second offender? Which prior conviction?
felony theft charge.
Now, I see that you've lost 318 days of good time. You want to tell us how you managed to lose that much good time?
Intoxications, 14 that I had caught.
That's a good point, Carrie.
So how you lost what, 30 days every time? How'd you get so many
No, ma'am. I
days?
lost 160 days on each
Okay.
one.
Okay. And what were you intoxicated on?
Mojo,
Mojo.
What kind of substance abuse programs have you taken since you've been incarcerated?
I'm currently taking AA right now. Took
Okay,
drug,
well, what else have you taken?
Better have some
took
programs.
drug dealers
under your belt,
anonymous
Okay.
and
More
living
than
in
AA.
balance. Step 1
Okay.
and 2.
Right. What'd you
I like
learn in living in balance?
That I have a higher power that's greater than me that can help me overcome my addiction.
Those are just words. How do you use that? Those are just words. Read that out of the book.
I stay focused and don't think about using anymore. Stay around positive men. Work every day, 7 days a week.
Kind of your job at the prison.
Excuse me, ma'am.
What is your job at the prison?
I'm currently right now a cook and a trustee.
And how long have you been a cook?
13 years,
How long have you been a trustee?
7 years.
When was the last I saw you had 3
Mojo
write-ups
synthetic marijuana. That's what they
in
call it in Louisiana.
2021.
Mm.
Want to tell us about what happened?
That was the last 14 I had caught.
Okay,
And now you
but you got 3 in 2021. Different dates. Those all intoxication?
Yes, ma'am.
Mojo.
And did you get those after you had completed living in balance?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't apply what you learned in living in balance,
No, ma'am.
correct? Why
No,
not?
ma'am. I'm an addict. I'm constantly used.
Fire captain 9 months. Look at you.
Thank you, Captain.
Well, our concern is, if you can't stay clean in prison, it's gonna be a lot harder on the street to stay clean. So what's your plan to stay sober?
Getting with a sponsor, being able to go to programs at least twice a week.
I'll give her that. She was on the right
Talk
track,
to
Jeff.
him
I
more
was not.
so. Try to keep myself positive.
So you got your GED in 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
What is life recovery enhancement? What is that?
That's rehabilitation equals accountable living. That's a process of class that helps us develop life skills.
Ooh, I like this.
Mm-hmm.
Getting close to God as well.
That's one big positive for him.
And when did you take that?
22.
Did you finish?
And what's the main takeaway you got from that?
That anything is possible through God's grace, love.
Those of you who may not know,
Your
program
risk assessment is high, and
Any
we
of those
rarely
things?
see a high
good.
risk assessment even for, what appears to be really poor history and poor criminal history, but you rated high on the risk scale. But then they did an old timer risk assessment, and you rated low, but you have high needs in a lot of areas. If you were to be successful, where would you live and what kind of work do you have lined up?
I would live with my mother in Prairieville, Louisiana. I would start back working at a restaurant, cooking.
Do you have a job lined up anywhere?
Not possibly until I get out there, ma'am.
So you don't have anything in place?
Excuse me?
Don't have anything in place, definite job in place?
No,
How you can
ma'am.
get a job in place and you're still in prison?
Yeah, when you've got that much time over your head,
Yeah.
Gordon, what can you tell us
Blame him on that
about Mr. Henry?
Troy's been at DCI since 2008, and he's worked in the kitchen. When he says he works 7 days a week, he works 7 days a week, sun up, sundown. I mean, Troy's always working.
like to hear
In the
that.
kitchen. He's a trustee, so he's part of the kitchen crew that kind of does all of the events at the prison, employee awards, things like that. He's currently enrolled in victim impact class. I do think that Troy would probably benefit from some intensive, maybe inpatient substance abuse program. But I mean, since he had the write-up in 2021 and he's stayed out of trouble since then, he's only had 11 write-ups in his total in his incarceration, which is, not the best, but it's pretty good.
Trust me, we've seen worse.
Right. He's also a Pride member.
What's that mean?
All right, that's all I have, Mr. Nelson.
We'll hear from Mr. Robinson.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to say I emphatically oppose the release of Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry has sat before y'all and told something that was untrue.
Damn.
The home invasion had nothing to do with a drug deal. We did not know who Mr. Henry was or any of his accomplices were. That particular night, I had received a call from my friend Johnny because we both attended LSU together, undergrad. And we were planning to go to Galveston for spring break. So he called me to help him to come load his motorbike up and strap it down on his truck that particular night. So after strapping the motorbike down, I asked him, I said, I hope you don't have to go anywhere tonight because you don't need to be riding around Baton Rouge with this motorbike up on his truck. And that's when he remembered that he needed to go to the store. So I say, you sure? So he said, I'm just going to the store. Everything gonna be all right. So he went to the store. He came back home. When he came back home, he went in the house. He put the items inside. Then he came back out. Then he had forgot something. So he was about to get in his truck and pull off again. So I told him, no, you don't need to be driving that truck. So I gave him my car to take. So I sat inside of his garage and waited on him. And so I got in the truck and I turned on the music, and no longer than a couple of minutes of sitting inside of his truck, I got 3 guys that ran up on me and opened the door, and they all sitting there with assault rifles. Mr. Henry was the one in front, and he was the one whose face I looked directly into. So I had no problem picking Mr. Henry out of a lineup, even with a bandana over his face. So they yanked me out of the truck and they forced me into the house. And as I'm walking down the house, I knew Johnny's girlfriend was in the house because it was her condo. So as I'm walking down the hall, before I got to the living room, I stopped to try to warn her. And I told her, I said, Amanda, we're being robbed. And so she looked up at me and she was startled. And so I told her again, I said, Amanda, we're being robbed. And that's when one of them jumped from behind me, and he put his assault rifle in her face. So she screamed, she threw the cover over her face. After she threw the cover over her face, he yanked, that particular guy yanked the cover from over her face. He made her sit in the chair. That's when Mr. Henry pushed me over to the sofa and made me get down on my knees. And as I'm getting down when I got down on my knees, now they're asking us about drugs and everything. And we constantly telling them, we don't know what you're talking about. And like Amanda had told them, Amanda told, she was a college student. And like I told him, I said, man, I work. I don't know what y'all talking about. And plus, I don't even live here. So that's when they asked Amanda, who was I? And Amanda told him that was my boyfriend friend from college. Afterwards, that's when Mr. Henry went in my pocket, took my money, and then after he hit me in my head, he busted me in my head twice with the gun, where he split my head open right here, and he split my head open right there. So they then threw the cover over me. So I began bleeding. Afterwards, they made me lay down on the floor. Afterwards, one went upstairs, started tearing her house up. One was downstairs tearing the house up. And they had one standing there watching over us because he came to pat my pockets to see if I still had something in my pockets. And as I rolled over to let him check my pockets, the cover lifted up a little where I was able to see half of his body, the lower part of his body, because he was standing right there watching over us. I could see his assault rifle right there too, which he told me, you better not move, because if you do, I'm gonna blow your effing back off. And afterward, they went through the house. They completely tore the house up. And as I'm laying under covers, I'm like, I can't believe this is happening, because the previous spring I had just graduated from Southern University Law Center and had begun working after that. So to be going through all this and all, I could think, man, I didn't even have a chance to even start my career or anything. After they tore up the house, they ran out. They jumped in Johnny's truck. They took his truck and back to Prairieville, because afterwards, when we heard the truck pull up from out of the garage, we got up, we called the police. The police came and everything. We made the report. I had to go to the hospital because I had to get stitches at the top of my head and also below my ear. And luckily, Johnny had OnStar in his truck, where they located his truck in Prairieville at one of them grandmother's house. We never saw them before in our lives. Johnny was from Tampa, Florida, down here attending LSU. I was from New Orleans attending LSU. Amanda was from San Francisco. California, attending Southern.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your comment.
Well,
Thank you.
wow, yeah, is right. That's a
Wow.
little slightly different story.
Hi, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Huh.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely
Go ahead.
terrifying if that's how that went.
I would like to apologize to Mr. Herman, to all the victims that was a part of this. I want y'all to please forgive me and give me a chance to rehabilitate myself. If the parole board give me a chance to make parole today. Things turned haywire on that night, and please just forgive me. Forgive all of us.
All right.
That I should never.
Right, thank you. Go ahead.
That's something I should have never done.
All right, thank you. Now prepare to vote.
How about him
Jackson?
lying?
Mr. Henry,
Yes, ma'am.
I've got some real concerns. You weren't really forthright about what happened in this case. Obviously, this was an extremely violent, traumatized experience. All the people involved in this case. You lost 318 days of good time. You only had 76 of those restored. By your own admission, most of that was for intoxication. The board believes that you can benefit from long-term substance abuse treatment and don't seem to have a very strong support network around you, Mr. Henry. You don't have any definite job.
Stay strong, Pablo.
And I don't know if living with your mother in itself is sufficient support that you need. So today my vote would be to deny it, encourage you to seek out more substance abuse programs and go without receiving any ups of any kind. Keep working at it. Don't get discouraged, but today is not the day for.
Mr. Marabella?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Henry, my vote is likewise the same for the same reasons as out. Ms. Jackson. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
2 votes to deny. I'm also going to vote to deny your parole for the same reasons stated. 3 votes to deny. Today your parole's been denied. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Man. Okay.
I
I know a
believed
lot.
his story in the beginning.
I did too. At first,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's he was a victim of circumstance, and
Right.
he made some bad decisions, and
Right.
he's stealing from other drug dealers. So but and some people were like, why is he being so loud? I think because it's still in his mind, like it just happened.
Oh, I think
You can
so.
tell he suffers from
Yeah.
post-traumatic stress syndrome for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Damn. Some of those are just that's why we only do a few of them here and there. They really
They're
tug on
heavy.
the heartstrings. They're very emotional sometimes.
Heavy for sure.
Exactly. Glad we got one in. Damn, I believed old Mr. Henry in the beginning. I really
I
did.
did too.
I
He
was, all right.
seemed really sincere, but at the
Running the
same
game,
time,
you made some poor choices when you were 21 or whatever. Now it's been 20 plus years.
how was he 21 and still in 12th grade? By the way, only failed one time.
That was he failed 9th grade quite a few times. He said, I believe.
That'd be heavy failure. All right, so we just had some TPO stuff pop off.
All right.
So we got this recorded, and we're gonna just jump on over to it.
He was here earlier. Is he?
Yes, Judge. He's here. He's
BRB.
He's what?
He's with Miss Hughes Evo.
He's on a BRB,
to Adam.
Judge.
I said BRB, Judge.
Can we see him, Miss Hughes Evo?
Yeah, we need to have him on the screen here.
Judge is shaking his head at me when I said that.
Is he available to come to the camera, ma'am?
Yes, he's coming.
Peace and
Okay,
love.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Channel's garbage. Effing garbage, bro.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. So it's like 3 petitions here, cross petitions. We have Miss Smith, one against Miss Hughes Evo. and then Mr. Adam Evo, and then Miss Hughes Evo, a lot of action against Miss Smith. So let me first on all three of you, let me swear you in. If you'll each raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give in the case pending will be the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury? If you'll say I do or will.
I will. I swear it's the truth.
I will. Okay.
That says the truth.
Miss Smith, let's start. Yours is the first one. The Smith was with Hughes Ebo. Yours is the first one on the calendar. Let me hear from you. And like I say, and again, that's way hours ago went over this, but Ms. Smith, you can testify. I may have some questions I want to ask you to make sure I understand positions. Then Ms. Hughes Ebo would be able to ask you questions about what you testified to. Doesn't have to, but can. And then Ms. Hughes Ebo will hear from you, and Ms. Smith could ask you questions.
She's very photogenic.
Probably all just and Mr. Ebo, and there get this all sort of hear from everybody in one hearing. All right, well, Ms. Smith, tell me what your issues are here.
Well, the issue is been
What a nice guy, right?
It's been back and forth for a few years with me coming to, because me and Adam have a child together. And so since becoming pregnant with her, it's been a lot of back and forth with me living there and then me not feeling comfortable living there. So I leave. And then, feeling like, oh, well, I want her to be with her dad and all of this stuff. And so this particular instance was not the first time that he's put my stuff in garbage bags and put it out in the living room or even outside. But this time it was in the living room.
Trash bag.
And every other time, then, I would come back. But this is, they put their hands on me that day. So I decided that all of my stuff being in garbage bags, that's it. I'm not coming back. I'm not wanted at the place. And so that's it. I made arrangements to leave. And so when Miss Dina, she called me in the living room, I'm getting prepared to get ready to go. And she got me in the living room and she asked me about what was going on with the kitchen. It wasn't clean, which is something that I would usually do. But because I'm leaving, I wasn't going to clean the kitchen. I was just going to get my stuff and go. And, she was upset because we were going back and forth about how her son was treating me and that I wasn't going to continue, having my children involved in it. My son comes to visit, my daughter seeing all of this. I'm tired of it. So it was just, I was done talking about it. And so she said something else. I don't know what she said. But basically she was trying to tell me, well, if you don't want to, basically stop coming back, stop getting yourself in this. If it doesn't feel good, and if my feelings are so hurt about it, stop choosing things that hurt me. So I said, okay. So I was standing by the front door, and by the front door, there's a couch. So I turned around to say something to her and I hit the couch. Nancy. And then she said, don't raise your voice at me, young lady. And she jumped up and came and pushed me down on the couch. So I stood back up and then she pushed me down a second time. And on that second time, I kicked her because that.
All right, they do some scrapping. To answer that question, no, but we saw him throw a bag out, and I was like, he just threw something out. I didn't know it was a puppy. That is awful, god awful. All right, so so far a lot of fighting in this house. It seems like packing up people in garbage bags. We've all been there, right?
At that point, you're telling me that you want to fight, and you're not. I'm not your child. There's no reason to put your hands on me, and I'm not gonna keep staying here being treated like this by her son. So, and then she said, don't put your hands on me, young lady. And then she tried to get at me and hit me. And then Adam came out of his room and flipped me onto the couch. And he was sitting on my back and he had his knees on my arms, so I couldn't move. And he had me in a headlock. calling me the B word and not to put my hands on his mother. And while he's doing that, she's also trying to get at me. And
look at the shock on her face. I mean, she is rocked to her core by these statements.
I mean, either that or some disgust that she's telling the truth. Either way, welcome to Beautiful Bridges. That's what I say. Chicago Jan, welcome. Made a fine choice today. Yeah, it sounds like some fighting in this neighborhood.
Yeah, not just with her, but the son as well. So it seems like they have combating orders. Like she wants one against him and against her. So I guess we'll hear about everybody on this one.
so she wasn't hitting me, but she was actively trying to grab at me. And so he finally released, and my kids were standing there watching this whole thing happen. So this is why they're in the protective order also. I don't want them, no visitation or anything where they have the chance to try and manipulate the children or get them to think what they saw wasn't true, or, playing these different games like I love you not, And so once he
Stop
finally
playing
released
those love
me
games with me.
from the headlock, I got my shoe back on, and I went to open up the door for my kids, and they went outside, and I went to grab the rest of my stuff because it was already in bags by the door. So I grabbed 2 bags, and then Ms. Dina said, "Don't let her take anything." And I said, "Well, that's my stuff. I'm going to get it." And so on my way back inside, Adam closed the door on my, I had like half my body in. So it was like my leg and arm in the door. And he kept trying to close it. And he finally opened up the door and pushed me out. And so that was it. And he slammed the door, and I grabbed my 2 bags and my babies. And then I called the police after that. And when the police got there, I was able to get the rest of my bags. And Miss Dina didn't let me take the car seat, which the baby would have needed if we were traveling in a car to leave the situation. She said, because Adam bought it, I couldn't leave. I couldn't take it. So, that's another way of putting her in danger. She needs the car seat. So that's that.
You, Mr. Eva, have 1 child, is that correct, or 2?
Yeah, I have another child from a separate person with another man.
How
And
old
then
is your child, Mr. Ebo?
say it one more time.
How old is your child that you have, Mr. Ebo?
She's 3.
Okay.
What's up, brother?
Okay. All right.
Headlock.
Miss Hughes Ebo, do you have any questions that you want to ask
Rest
Ms.
hold.
Smith about what she's testified to? You don't have to, and let's see, you're muted if you'll unmute.
Yes, I don't understand what she's saying, which the things she's saying, most of it is not true.
Most
And
if you, I'll hear from you. But if there's no questions you want to ask her, I'll hear from you next then.
okay.
All right. What do you want to tell me, ma'am?
Well, the incident started, she had left that morning, and then she came back. I called her and asked her what time were we going to take her son home to his father. We have to meet his dad at a gas station so he could get him to take him home. And I was riding with her. She was driving my car. And when I called her because she wasn't home and I wasn't feeling good. And she told me, she said, "It sounds like you don't feel good when I called." And I said, "I don't." And then I asked her what time. And she said, "Okay." I said, "I have something to do." And then when she came to the house, when she got back to the house, she was calling me, and she said, "Why did you all leave? You knew I was coming home." And I said, I said, "First of all, listen to what I'm saying." I said, "I had something to do. I didn't say I was leaving the house." And so she came in the house. She asked me to unlock the door for her. I came in the living room, out of my room, from my bed, and I saw her stuff packed there. I opened the door, but I told her, wait before she opened the door because I only had on a t-shirt and some underclothes. And
Oh, well, sexy. Didn't she say the lady said that her stuff was already packed in garbage bags by this family? And now she's saying, Yeah, now she's saying that she had packed her own stuff. And how was she
Looking
going to give her
stories.
a ride somewhere while she was laying around in her drawers?
Mm,
Undergarments.
sexy.
She had
Underwear.
her son with her.
Mm.
So give me time to get back to my room. So she came busting in here, and then she just came in my room and started yelling at me. I was back in my bed, and she started yelling at me about she's tired of her blankety blank stuff being packed up in trash bags and so on. And then something's going to happen where either him or I are going to be in jail. And she was just screaming and cussing. I said, first of all, lower your voice and stop cussing. And I said, just lower your voice. And she just kept on. And then she just walked out the room. Then maybe about 10, maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, Adam came back home and she was in the kitchen. He went in his room and that's where he stayed. He's not her. She put in a report that he's her boyfriend. He's not her boyfriend. He's not in any type of relationship with her. She
What?
called me from Washington and asked me could she stay here until, I think it was the 17th where she get a place to stay. And she's been here ever since. And every time she's come back here, I've let her come back and I've treated her just like one of my children, And then she came in here and then I got up and I put on my clothes. I'm disabled. I don't get out. I walk with a walker. I don't move that much. I walked in here and I sat in the living room because I had my clothes on because I remember what she said, that something was going to happen where one of them would go to jail. And I don't want that for my son because I need somebody to help me. So I sat in the living room in a chair. And so she was walking past me and she had the 2 kids with her. And she said that she was going outside to look for caterpillars. And I turned around and
Did she just say go outside and look for caterpillars? Is that an everyday occurrence at this house? People just go outside looking for caterpillars?
Maybe they harvest them or farm them. You never know.
Silk. They're
Side
weaving silk at this house.
I looked in the room that, I said, why is the rocking chair on the bed? She said, your blankety blank son put that up there on that bed. I said, okay. And she walked outside with the kids. And then so one of the kids had to go to the bathroom. So they came back in and he was in the bathroom. And then she started saying something to me. I asked her, where was she going? She said, I'm leaving. I said, okay. And she asked me, would I take her? I said, no, I'm not going to be part of you taking my grandbaby away from us again. I said, I'm not going to be part of that. And she got mad and she was standing there by the sofa and she was pointing her finger at me. And she was saying that it's not my place. I can't be a woman like you. I'm not wise as you. And if you tell me what I needed to do and I'll do it. But I'm not going to be here where I'm not wanted. I said, okay.
Did she just claim the lady gave her a huge compliment during this fight? I'm not as wise as you. I'm definitely not as beautiful or agile. I need you to tell me what to do.
Obviously, we're going to hear the rest from her, but where do we stand right now? Who are we believing at the moment?
You're so smart. Can you please tell me what to do? Smart.
It's all right if you leave. And she was banging while she was talking. She was banging her hand on the sofa and pointing at me. So I told her to stop cussing and to sit down. I said, sit down so we could talk about, because I've worked in mental health for the past 30 years. And I know when clients get upset and their behavior, I look at body language and I walked over to her. I said, sit down. I put my hand on her shoulder. I said, sit down. And she just pushed me and she reached back and scratched me in my face and she fell back on the couch, took both of her feet and kicked me. And I landed on the floor and I could not get up.
I can just see her kicking like a little child when she gets thrown out of the
she hit her with the claw. And then she does what a shotgun kick to the chest, both barrels, Creed, right in her chest.
See, it's hard because she is so calm up here, and seems extremely sweet. So it's very hard to,
I don't know. It's hard. I don't know who's telling the truth yet.
She has basically admitted though that this has happened. And
yes,
somebody was thrown on the couch.
There was
so
altercations that went on. It's just now we got to figure out who, where, and why.
And I was trying to get up. The kids were standing there crying. I was trying to get up, and my son, I was like, you know, Adam, help me. And my son came out the room. He heard us all out here talking, or I guess arguing at the time. And he came out and she was coming toward me. I was laying on the floor. I could not get up. And I rolled over and I tried my best. It took me about 2 minutes to get up because I was on the floor. And so I finally got.
Thank you, Shelley. Appreciate that. Took her 2 minutes to get up.
I figure she's going to hit us with the pretty sweet Shawn Michaels-esque kip, but I guess
What were
not.
you thinking when she had fallen?
I can't get up. I can't get up.
Probably a lot like Carol.
When I got up, she was still coming toward me, and Adam stood between us, and he was holding her down. She was not on her back. She was like, Adam had both his hands. He has really large hands. He had both his hands on her shoulder, holding her down.
She has very large hands.
His hands are huge, dude. He only needed one hand to hold her whole body down. Her entire body.
By the way, there's some times that I do a little stumble, or the ankle gives away, and it takes me 2 minutes to get up also. I
mean,
get it.
It's possible maybe his giant hands could have accidentally harmed her. I don't know. Kitchen court cases, by the way, I enjoy watching that channel immensely. If you're looking for a strong up-and-comer who did 8 hours of court last night.
My God. Well, that's why he's still in bed then.
I got up this morning and said 8 hours. I'm like, good Lord. Did she fall asleep while the stream was on? What happened? Shelley.
Down. And when I got up, I was trying to make it back to the chair. And when I walked past him holding her down, she reached out and kicked me. And when she kicked me, I tried to hit her like this. And my son would not let me hit her. He had her holding her down. Her face, she was facing me. She was facing me. He was not on her back. And he was holding her down with both of his hands. And I made it back to the chair. And then Adam said, just leave. So she got by the door, and Adam opened the door, and he tried to put her out. She just kept trying to come back in, kept coming back. She was reaching her hands through the door, and Adam, he wouldn't shut the door on her. He just kept pushing her out, and every time he pushed her out, she'd come back in. So finally, he got her out the door, and he closed the door, and she just started kicking on the door, and then she kicked on the storm door, and I mean, all the other stuff is not true. He didn't try to hurt her. If he wanted to hurt her, he could have hurt her. Because if she would have jumped on anybody else's mother, she would have gotten hurt. But he didn't want to hurt her. He just held her down to keep her, because she kept coming at me. And I've let her come back to this house so many times. She don't pay nothing. She hardly do anything. And then we did not argue about it.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Pablo, thank you for the 2 bones. Appreciate you. Glad you're here in Flushing with $5. Forget checking the traffic and weather together, Creed. Now you're checking for caterpillars. Yes, that's what I do out there. For the
Just remember, hard times don't last, but bad guys do.
Kitchen being dirty. I did not say anything to her. That is a lie. And I mean, you can give me a lie detector test. You can give her a lie detector test. That is a lie. I'm telling you exactly what happened. I'm disabled.
Yeah, we got it. You're disabled.
Judge going like this to you.
Ms. Smith, any questions you want to ask Ms. Hughes-Ebo about what she's testified to?
Do it, Gazebo.
You don't have to, but you have the right to.
Well, she's telling it from her point of view. She did mention that I didn't mention was earlier that day. I had left out me and my baby.
I'm asking you if you have any questions you want to ask her.
We got a new doormat, and he hasn't left it since yesterday.
So you don't have to.
Oh, you're breaking it in.
It's not really any questions. It's just some statements about what she said.
It's not the time for that.
All right. What do you want to respond to on that?
Well, again, she did mention a part that I left out about me and my children leaving earlier that day out with a girlfriend. And we left about 10:30. And then she did call me because we were supposed to take my son to the meeting point to take him back to his dad. And Miss Dina called me asking when I would be back. I told her, well, we're going to be back in a little while. It was about 2:30 around then. And so when we did get to the house, you know, the car wasn't there. So I called her. I said, did you guys leave? And then she said, no, she's still there. Adam just left. I said, okay, can you open up the door? It's locked. She said, okay. And then wait a minute, because she didn't have any clothes on. Okay, so I went back to the car, came back inside once the door was unlocked, and I saw all of my stuff in the living room. Which again, this isn't the first time that he's done that, because this isn't the first time that I've lived there, which she's right about that, you know. And I'm not, you know, we both is equal. You know, I shouldn't have been coming back and forth. And, you know, I always take care of the house. I would clean the kitchen, clean the
I
bathroom.
don't need to get into all that details.
Okay. All right. I just thought I would mention that.
Okay.
And of course, she's going to protect her son from, you know, going to jail or getting in type of any trouble. Because, I mean, what mother wouldn't, you know, but this is something that happened. I know what I felt. My son knows what he saw. I'm choosing not to get him involved.
Sounds like it's a one-time thing, no?
Yeah, but
I
no
mean-
law was called with all these blows being exchanged from person to person and super kick party
So,
going on. And
we know something happened. They both admitted to it. I
Yeah.
think she's sensationalized it a little bit. I believe Mama got mad, no doubt about that. But that's what I'm thinking. I don't think so. I think that
not only are they farming butterflies at this house, they're farming TPOs now.
I don't think there's in the evidence wise. There seems to be no evidence, like you said. No cops weren't even called.
We've got to hear from Adam in his gigantic hands.
You know, for the same reason, he's a child. He's 6. He ain't got no business telling the police or anything what he saw that day. But so yeah, and I went in her room, and I asked her, well, so you saw my stuff out in the living room. What's up with that? And you know, of course, I'm upset because all of my stuff is in garbage bags, and I'm tired of being mistreated, you know, by her son. And she doesn't hold him accountable for anything, which is a part of the problem. You know, if I'm gonna be the bad guy here, then I'll be the bad guy. But I know that I'm doing the right thing for me and mine.
Tons of Razor Ramon references today.
All right, listen, Mr. Ebo, what do you want to tell me about this situation?
Well, actually, it actually started because I came back home and I saw that she was leaving, and I seen like it was one of my old friends that like we had a problem with, because like she was spending the night at her house, and I don't know what they were doing. They had some other type of stuff going on.
What?
Like, she was my best friend before my girlfriend started doing extracurricular activities with her. That's why we haven't been together since like 2020, right?
Wait.
Hold up.
Wait a minute. Girlfriend and her?
Yeah, started doing extracurriculars, so that's why the two of them aren't together anymore. So
More to the
she
story.
was when she said girlfriend, she wasn't kidding. It wasn't just a turn of phrase.
Got it. Okay. He's very soft-spoken as well. I tend to believe people that are more soft-spoken rather than yelling at me, but like Bob, who yells at me all the time.
I mean, we've basically found out he's a mama's boy.
Hey now.
So I mean, every time I see the word thruple, I think of like a delicious chocolate. That's just me, though. That's just me. It's just me. Hold on a second. Let me close that. StreamYard's being stupid. You had to give me just one moment.
It usually is being terrible.
It's the same thing it did the other time.
We'll just look in to this that's happening. I'm not sure if this is the double dirty or not, but
well, I'm just glad to see that we've got this retiree enjoying a leisure day at home.
Oh, he's got things to do. Looking at his watch. So he just did it. He just pulled the mic.
I don't know why StreamYard does this sometimes. If I leave it alone and I don't touch it, it does what it just did right then.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I did not think in this case that we were gonna go down that. I'm wondering if the judge just stops that. It's like, yeah, no.
You didn't think about the necklace she was wearing? It kind of was a giveaway, right? I thought.
No, it wasn't a pearl necklace. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean she had the hookah shell necklace. Maybe.
Yeah, is he the one with the big hands, or is that somebody?
Yeah, he has old big hands himself.
He's big hands. Okay.
Whipping them out right now on us. All right. I do apologize about this, by the way. But it's definitely spicier. He kicked it up a notch. I'm going to rewind it, and I want to hear him say that again so we can hear
Let's make sure
exactly
we got
what we heard.
I'm guessing murder of a lot of people, but I could be completely wrong. That's just me looking at this.
Oh, I think he's a vampire if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, murderous vampire, maybe. We could both be right.
That's a double whammy. All right. Back to the action.
Is a part of the problem. You know, it's if I'm gonna be the bad guy here, then I'll be the bad guy. But I know that I'm doing the right.
I just want to hear that again.
So.
All right, listen, Mr. Ebo, what do you want to tell me about?
Let's
this?
be friends.
Well, actually, it actually started because I came back home and I saw that she was leaving, and I seen like it was one of my old friends that like we had a problem with because like she was spending the night at her house, and I don't know what they were doing. They had some other type of stuff going on. Like she was my best friend before my girlfriend started doing extracurricular activities with her. That's why we haven't been together since like 2020, right? And she just came back from Washington talking about, oh, we can be a family and all this other stuff.
So what happened on this, the date?
Yeah, I saw that
girl,
that ex-friend in front of my house, and I saw her going with her, taking my child with her. And she know that I don't want my daughter around her. And like we already had problems because of that. So I just asked her, I was like, when you come back, I'm gonna need you to leave. And she knew that when she came back. Because I told her that before she left. She saw me before she left and went with that friend.
All right, so it was his friend, which was a woman, started having extracurricular activities with his then girlfriend, the young lady over yonder.
When they spent the night and he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
I have a pretty good idea. Here, oh, I lost them. Never mind.
Oh,
My scissors are usually right there. I was just gonna hold them up, and it's an idea. But anyways,
it's definitely what happened, Creed. I feel very confident now after hearing him say that. We know exactly what went on.
And then she came back.
And what happened after she came back?
Well, I heard her arguing with my mom, and when I came out of my room, I seen her kick my mom to the ground with both her feet. And I went over there and I like grabbed her and I held her down. And so I said, "What is wrong with you?" And then she kept trying to scratch me. Well, she actually scratched me on my arm, and I have a big
I
scratch
think
on there. If I could show you.
I hope.
Yeah, I mean, if it'll show up.
No, we got a scratch. What we got? Let me see.
This light's not really.
Yeah. Oh, there's some big ass hands.
It's got some big hands.
Oh, there it is right there. Right
Oh,
there.
that is all right.
That's pretty long.
That's a scratch. I still don't see her coming in and kicking Big Mama. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that. But
I mean, I feel like maybe, but what keeps coming to my mind, Creed, is how soft both of them are for letting her come and stay there, and they're not even boyfriend, girlfriend.
Wellness check on Bob, please. Wellness check on Bob. Thank you.
He's kind of SWAFT. Soft.
Oh yeah, see now. Okay.
And while I was holding her down, she scratched me. Like, and I was trying to just get her out because, like, I didn't want it to escalate any further because I don't want my mom fighting her, and I don't want her fighting my mom. To be a bad situation for both of us. And like, I didn't even want to be around this lady. She called me from Washington, asked me could she come back, and I told her it was a bad idea, and she came back anyway. Like she's just been causing problems in my life since I met her. And I don't even care anymore. I just want to be done with her. I don't want her calling me anything. If it's not about the daughter.
He's got
hit my mom.
He's got a reason to be mad at her.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got a reason to say that he saw somebody kick.
Y'all, have you ever been, as far as your daughter, has there ever been a legitimation case, or has she been legitimated, or child support orders, or anything in place for your daughter?
No, she's been gone pretty much since she was been born. So I didn't really have a real relationship with my daughter.
It's a shame.
Sorry to hear that.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. All right. Well, sounds like from what I'm hearing, if anything, that could be a order against you, Miss Smith, related to Miss Ebo, from what evidence that I've heard.
There's the real question.
But not against you or Miss Hughes Ebo. Are you requesting that a 12-month temporary protective order be issued against Miss Smith? Or if y'all just gonna go your own ways, or what?
Well, I forgave her, because that incident was the only reason that I would never let her back in my house. Because I'm a forgiving type person, and I treat her like she was one of my kids. And that was something I thank God that was something that needed to happen. She kicked me, I fell, I'm disabled. I'm in a lot of pain from that kick, but I thank God that it happened, because now she's out of my house. Because, she's out of my house. Something worse could happen. When she told me that day that she was going to do something where one of them would end up in jail, I heard it, but I didn't believe it until that incident happened that day. And I'm laying on the floor and I can't get up. And I thought about, what if I was there by myself when she has one of those episodes? So all I want is for her not to be able to live in my house again. That's it. And all I want to do is see my grandbaby.
Well, she does understand she doesn't have to let her live there. And the judge just offered to give Miss Debo a protective order from her, and then she wouldn't have to worry about her coming back in the house for sure.
I'm oddly siding with this one down here at the moment. I don't know why.
What's her name? Miss Smith or whatever?
Huh.
I don't know.
I kind of feel like these two want her out, not want anything to do with her. It's for the kid. Want her out of there. She broke my baby's heart, She went off.
Here's the thing, though, Creed. The young lady to our left or right, whichever way you're looking at your screen, she's the one that brought this to court. And then they, in turn, put their 2 cents in for their TPOs. So again, I don't think she's trying to move back in. I think she's living, her trash bags are under another woman's bed.
Unless you believe him, though, because he said that she was calling and saying that, or was that the girlfriend that was calling and saying, I want to.
Well, that's before she moved back, and he told her not to, and she moved back anyways.
Okay, got it. Oh, so many working parts to such a simple little fight. No,
there's a lot. And they'll tell us in the comments later, if you guys would shut the hell up, you'd know what was going on.
I don't want no trouble. I don't want nothing. She could stand some therapy, but I'm not the one to give it to her. I gave her all I could when she was here. I treated her good, and I helped her with anything she needed to talk about. But like you said, I'm saying that I don't think I have to take a petition out on her for her not to be here. I just don't want her living in my house.
Well, if you're comfortable with an order not being put in place,
then I'm not that dangerous.
Yeah,
I didn't just attack her out of nowhere for no reason. I would never do that to somebody because she's helped me so many times.
Yeah.
Why?
So you're Miss Smith. You understand that it's Miss Smith. So Miss Smith, you understand that you're not welcome back. You're not going to stay at Miss Hughes Ebo's place again.
I understand, and I'm fine with that. That's what the whole protective order is for. We don't need to be around each other right now. I don't need to be living there.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and I'm not gonna enter in a protective order against Miss Hughes Ebo. It looks like there's evidence to issue one against you, Miss Smith, but then of course there's ramifications that come with those orders. But I mean, if y'all are comfortable with not having Miss Hughes Ebo, if you're comfortable with not having a protective order in place against Miss Smith. Now, again, there's a complicating factor of the grandchild. Now, I mean, since she's not been legitimated, I mean, there's no, visitation orders in place or anything like that. That would be up to y'all to work on, if y'all can communicate the extent. I mean, the more a child can be involved with their family, but if it ends up, it's beneficial if people are getting along, but certainly a child doesn't need to be exposed and seeing this sort of, whoever is at fault and started it, ended it, or whatever. A 3-year-old child doesn't need to be seeing that sort of thing. But so I don't know where y'all go with that, but yeah.
We'll do the proper paperwork so we'll be able to see her. She doesn't want us to have her address or anywhere she's staying at, and I'm fine with that. Just like she meets her, her other son, like she has to go meet him somewhere. I would like to be able to meet and get my grandbaby and spend some time with her. She's not in any danger. I'm not a harmful person. I'm just the last 4 months being able to get out my bed and walk around. And I attribute a lot of that to having my grandbaby in the house.
Yeah.
I've been bedridden for the last 3 years. I've been off from work for the last 5 years.
Oh my God.
But I'm able to get up. All I want to do is see my grandbaby.
Yeah. Well, again, that's not something. What's that, ma'am?
I feel like Miss Dina is, of course, she's upset about how the whole situation played out. And now we all have some regret about the situation. I regret going there, and she pushed me on that couch. So I think she regrets that my daughter saw all of that and my son saw all of that happen also. And she doesn't want that to be the last time that she saw her granddaughter or the last time he saw his daughter. I could understand that, but right now, I don't think it's it hasn't been enough time for myself to heal, to be and feel comfortable with my daughter going over there. It's not time for that yet. Maybe
like I say, we can't resolve that today. The only but Miss Hughes Ebo, let me double check, make sure. Are you okay with a order not being issued? Or you want? And again, I'm not
that's almost what it comes down
she's
to.
not to have any contact with you whatsoever for the next 12 months, or
Well, I mean, I want to see my grandbaby, even if I have to do it on the Zoom.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's again.
She should go ahead and let her put the.
I mean, right now, the legal situation is Mr. Ebo, the father. I mean, he's one of the. There are certain situations, grandparent visitation, but on an illegitimate child, the father has the obligation, responsibility to support his child, but has no rights to visitation or custody unless that's established through a legitimation petition. So
Okay, we'll take care of that.
But but again, are you okay with not having an order in place that she's not to come around? Sounds like she's not going to come around, but
I'm not
pushing for this.
coming around, but because we live, in close proximity, in 2 close cities, there's a possibility that we may cross paths one day, and I just don't want that instant to happen. And then, it's another story about, how I came up and did something, which again, I wouldn't do anything without being provoked.
All right, well, so
He really
Ms.
wants her to see the
Hughes-Ebo, what
TPO.
do you say?
Is my order, is my decision the same one that you're gonna ask my son? Does he want, because he didn't file a PTO,
Oh,
but
okay.
he feels that I should keep the order of her staying away. But I'm disabled. I can't do, the guy told me, Asher told me that I would have to go to violent classes and all this other stuff. And I can't do that.
I'm not,
no,
well,
no,
let me,
no,
I'm
no,
not,
no.
I'm finding there's not evidence to issue an order against you to stay away from her. I'm saying there's evidence that what I've heard that we could issue an order against Ms. Smith to stay away from you, to have no contact whatsoever with you the next 12 months. And but again, I put two issues, or I think there's evidence of family violence that occurred, but I mean, I'm not sure about the likelihood of it occurring again. I mean, if she stays away from her house, then there's not that likelihood. And it sounds like at this point that both of you are in agreement that she's not gonna come around your house. So
Well, okay. I mean, I don't have to
It's a
put
wash.
it in if
all right.
he's
All right,
staying
well, I
away.
think then I'm not gonna, under these circumstances, I'm not gonna issue an order against any of you, 12-month order against any of you, and we'll see how you go. Now, all of you understand too, and Ms. Smith, as far as you say you're not coming over or whatever, if there's a crime of criminal trespass, if somebody tells you stay away, don't come to my house, and you come over anyway, that can be a misdemeanor crime of criminal trespass that you get up to a year in jail. I mean, there's a potential maximum penalty on that law, but
It's not I'm not going back over there. So
okay. All right. Well, I'm going to then, based on all these circumstances, I'm not going to issue a protective order against any of you. Hope y'all can all move forward from here and never be back in this situation like this. All
Don't
right.
ever come in front of me again.
So Adam he wanted the order to be issued, which would mean, I by the court order, not be around him or come near him. That's an indication like he doesn't want.
Why are we still talking?
Well, he didn't bring a petition against you, so it's not.
But consulted with his mother about how she should pursue with the order, and that indicates that he doesn't want to be around me or his daughter.
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave all those issues up to y'all in a different forum at a different time. But I'm all right. I'm not gonna issue order. We'll send out copies of dismissals to y'all.
Why did she bring that up?
And best wishes, all of you moving forward, and hope to keep the best interest of your daughter in mind.
Oh, they have kept no interest in the
All
children.
right, well, y'all can be excused then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh. I don't know. That one was.
I found it very strange. I think Miss Debo was confused and thinking that the girl was going to have it approved against her, and she got to go all these classes and stuff and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Because once he explained it to her, she's like, "Oh, okay." And I think she was going to be like, "Yeah, go ahead and put it on," because he gave her like 10 chances to say yes, and I think she was on disability. I may have talked over that part, but I think she said she was on disability. Bedridden for 5 years, 3 years, 5 years.
I still don't know who to believe in that one, really, to be honest with you. That one.
I tend to think everybody showed their ass that day, except for maybe Adam.
Like everybody got in on that one, right? I would understand if there was a long line of those type of things happening. They both didn't have a whole lot. I mean, it seemed like it's not, but how about him saying he didn't even care about the damn kid?
I think he did to an extent, but not the extent that they were, going for here. It was definitely a situation where he hasn't been around the kid at all anyways. So he has no connection to the child. The mom seems like she wanted to see the baby, but that's everybody loves a baby. But I mean, he's not even paid any child support. He ain't been legitimized. He's living with moms. So that's not good. But it seems like it's dysfunctional on both sides. So we'll see what happens with these
sounds
two.
like they're going to stay away from each other, or they're going to get into another giant fight and be right back into a counseling session when they threaten the protection order. All right, that is we got a case for today.
Yes, it is, Creed. And that's also wonderful people on the Monetary Monorail right down below us.
The Taco Sauce Express. Matt, Dreamweaver, thank you. Gary, Mojo, like that. Chicago, Jan, Shelly, Chris, Pablo, and Flusha, thank you guys so much. We'll see everybody at 405 East.
That's right. It's Taco Tuesday over there as well, but Sov Citizen, if you like sovereign citizens, baby, we got one for you. There's a chase, and I want to tell you this now. If you have not seen this chase and heard this man speak from the backseat of a police car, my friend, you are missing out because he drops gems and nuggets all over the place. So make sure you're there for that. You do not want to miss it today at 4:05 right over on Credence and Mikey, or you can watch it over there on We Got a Chase on the YouTubes. Ta-da. All right, guys, we're out of here. See ya. And I'm disabled. Play, you some bitch. It's not. The outro was on disability too.
It's Taco Tuesday. Not again. Where's my money?